Okay, name. Right. Name. I'm gonna go with my online name, Arasi. So you are Arasi. You just spell it correctly. Yes, I spelling is hard. Okay. Yes, I did. Let's move on to your teenage years. Before the horrific event occurred that changed your life forever, what was life like during the awkward stages of becoming a full fledged man? Any good fights, romance, drama, earnestly, jokingly, harshly, jokingly? All of the above. Get your quill and parchment ready because this won't be a short story. Oh, I'm excited, alright? Chapter 1. Wounded Reality. Arasi, your father's yelling for you. Stop playing with yourself and get to it. Your mother calls out to you in the endearing way only your wingless siren could. You reluctantly leave the sweet yet sad moment of privacy you. What were you doing again? Book learning. It's personal. Obviously. Okay. Personal indeed. Well, it's perfectly healthy for growing fellas such as yourself. Right. We can agree on that. You've got a lot of stress on your mind. What with the long days at the mill, tending the farm, minding the. Oh, who am I kidding? You were just feeling frisky. You head out into the nearby woods where your father should be out hunting. There's always good game to be found when your glorified village is this deep in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't even a month ago when you tracked down an elk that would tower over even a large orc. Hmm. You've just about given up hope of locating your parental figure when a woman's scream sent your feet into a sprint. Wolves wouldn't dare get this close, but there were rumors of a bear prowling around last week. Dodging tree roots and potential twisted ankles, you arrive upon a horrendous scene. Your father is attending to a young woman's leg, or at least what left of it. Blood, flailing tendons, and a flash of bone. It's enough to make you toss up your lunch. But you're no pushover yourself, and after regathering your wits, you jump to help your father deattach the bear trap. Your father mutters, help keep your mind away from the liquid oozing over your fingers. Ooh, fracking newfangled traps. Bet one of them fancy elves thought himself clever. Impossible to get the damn things off. It is only after you manage to get the trap off that you realize the girl has passed out from the pain. She's a bad looker, a bit on the skinny side with a pale porcelain skin that had hardly dealt with the sun's rays. Recent blonde nose. Her long dark hair, while in a mess on the forest floor, still manages to look better than yours, even on a good day. And her figure is. Wait, what are you thinking? You've got to get her back to town as soon as possible. As gently yet swiftly as you are able, you and your father carry the wounded stranger to the hut of medicine who lives nearby. Even if you hadn't passed it 1,000 times before, the powerful incense make it very easy to find. The healer and supposed spiritual guide of the community is a very odd and reclusive elf. He is an ex-druid, though why he was kicked out of the tree-hugging circle, you couldn't guess. Your father held him out of a plant-induced coma. Interesting. This one's kid was kissed a ghost, and so too will its spirit. Set her down there. The elf hums oddly, as you do as he asks. Anger rises inside you. The nonchalant healer doesn't seem to grasp the greatness of the situation. You always knew there was a reason the Elvis community never spoke of him. Finally, he sets off to work. While waiting, your father gives details on how he came across the poor dying lass. Was out on my usual path when I heard a metal snatch, then a crunch and scream. You know animal made that noise. We've been hearing of bears about lately. Some spooked goons started sprinkling them fancy new traps all over the place. Ain't think this will be the last you'll have, healer? Your eyes fixate upon the deeply heaving figure on the table. Primarily your focus on her. Oh, these are nice choices. Face. Yeah, face. Dark brown eyes you could sink yourself into. Firm cheeks with the slightest hint of dimples. It would have been more beautiful were it not screaming in agony. While stereotypically noble folk are brown, blonde. This young lady has upper class just about written on her forehead. Your father sent you back home to tell your mother of the incident and to ask around town if anyone might be missing a pale, black haired girl. You're reluctant to leave, but it's not like you could do anything to help at this point anyway. After resolving to check up on her tomorrow, you return home. It is almost impossible to get back to the usual toils of the day after that sort of excitement. The hours go by slower than ever. There is no rest for an only child, and you have to scramble to make up for the time you lost on that little adventure. It is almost impossible to get back to the usual toils of the day after that sort of excitement. The hours go by slower than ever. There is no rest for an only child, and you have to scramble. Right, didn't I already read that? I think I did. Night falls, but before dinner, you decide to take a short walk to get some air. There's really one thing on your mind: the wounded stranger, the rustling sound. Yeah. While the rich girl is a certain concern, you have an idiot to contend with at the moment. Sneak attacks were never this one's strength. For Dalmatia, she cries, while you easily sidestep a poorly executed pouncing grapple. She ends up with her face on the ground. Not that it isn't dirty most of the time anyway. Ow, 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 that hurt, you know? Geez, what's your deal, Arasi? Yeah, I think that was a bad choice of a name. Okay, first you skip out of ceremony rehearsal and now you're beating up a cute girl who throws herself at you. Your would-be attacker grows sullen, somehow feeling offended. You don't buy that pout for a second, regardless of how cute it might seem. This is Brigid. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna say Bridget. Your childhood friend and oftentimes enemy. She is a true believer in the church's teaching and rules, but isn't quite smart enough to remember what half of them are. Next year, she plans to enlist in the military and can't ever seem to stop talking about it. As far as your opinion on the matter goes, being a soldier sounds like slavery. Well, not really. Suicide, though, interesting. Farming turnips, hunting squirrels, mining shiny stones. Is that really what you were meant for? Were you to be burned and die in the same village? The Dalmatian Knights might be a ticket out of this place. Hey, just cause you can read fancy books and don't mean you get to zone out all the time. What's on your mind anyway? Bridget charged you for thinking before speaking, a skill she may never learn. You explained to her about the wounded stranger you, hopefully, helped save today. Definitely need to check up on her condition tomorrow. Bridget's condition grows rather much more stern, unless you are just imagining things. Oh, your mother told me of her. I suppose you'll want to check up on her tomorrow, right? I think I will too. We don't get old strangers like that one around here often. Well, Bridget is right about that much, at least. You two make plans to meet up in the morning, but before you leave, ask about the ceremony. You ask her about how the plans for the ceremony tomorrow are going. While Bridget's family is far from rich, it's not very day one's oldest daughter gets married. Bridget might try to hide it, but she is quite excited for her older sister's big day. Huh, if you care so much, you should have shown up to the recital. Your red-haired friend retorts with a biting remark, failing to recall that you had been busy hauling a half-dead person at the time. And it isn't like you don't have the dull ceremony memorized at this point anyway. This will be the third wedding you'll have attended in as many years. There's been a change in the plans. I'm in the opener. Apparently, I need a guy to walk down the aisle with. It'd be weird if someone got the right idea. Bridget trails off, cheeks growing the shade of her hair. This cute side of hers doesn't show itself often, so you take a moment to savor it. How should you reply? Teasingly. Duh. This is just too easy. You ask her if she needs any help with a possible after-wedding activity as well. Wink wink. Causing her face to go up full plus. Idiot! Just sew up and shut up. I'm not sure why I put up with you. You might have made her mad at you, but you don't mind giving us something to think about tonight. Not a moment passes after you exchange goodbyes before you go into a brisk jog back home for dinner. There's not as much left at the table as you would prefer. Your extended encounter with Bridget is likely the cause. Still, a lackluster sufferer is worth getting to see the rare side of her. Night comes and goes in a flash, and before you know it, a chorus of chirping finches arrives to welcome the new day. Today's duties are lighter than ever. Your folks are too busy preparing for the wedding to be effective taskmasters, which is perfect, since you are off to the Healer's hut anyway. You don't get very far before you spot Bridget on the road, waiting impatiently. Right, you were going to go together. Still, it is odd that she would forego her usual morning sword fighting training for something like this. She is religious about smacking that dull sword against whatever she can find. But no matter how hard she'd polish it off, that blade's edge is... This sounds a bit dirty, doesn't it? Yeah, I was wondering that. About time you got here. Let's go see how your princess is doing. You follow her in a fast-paced march, speculating aloud as to what the rush is. What? I've got things to do is all, and this is such a waste of time. You then speculate aloud as to whose idea it was to bring her along on this trip in the first place. That keeps her quiet, at least for a moment. Anyway, my parents are trying to marry us all off now. It's crazy. Dusty old people don't know anything. She mutters as you march slows down to more of a brisk walk. You suppose this isn't completely unexpected. There was always a more than healthy beat of tension between Bridget and her folks. Heck, you are even starting to get pressured into marriage as of late. What are your thoughts on marriage? Not me. No, not me. I can lower. Let me see that. Yeah, 64%. Marriage means settling down. It means kids, a regular job, a regular life. While that does hold some appeal, you're out for something else, aren't you? Typical Arasi. Think you're the main character of one of them stories. You can tell by Bridget's expression what she is going to ask you next. She isn't the hardest girl in the kingdom to read. You should join up with Dalmatian Knights next summer. Obviously you need some serious training to get in safe, and it would be a huge pain for me, but I guess I could help you pass basic requirement. What a gracious invitation! But wasting your precious morning's training just so you have the privilege to getting yelled at by a drill sergeant? You get enough of that from your mother already. How do you feel about Bridget joining up? Why should I care? I don't care. Yeah, neither. Yeah, neither. Honestly, it's her life. Exactly. And you have no right to control that. It isn't that you don't care what she does. Oops. Just that you will respect her own decision on the matter. To your dismay, that's not quite the red-haired swordswoman was looking for. Ah, you're so... I don't know the word. Why can't you ever take sides in anything? You have been like this since we were little. Would it kill you to take a stand somewhere? The last bit is a whisper you nearly couldn't hear. It's a criticism your face It's a criticism you face regularly with her, but you can't help but see that the world isn't just black or white. The two of you carry on the rest of the trip in silence. Within minutes, you find yourself in front of the healer's hut. This elf druid is one weird fig. I have to be dumb but desperate to go to him for help. Bridget blurts out. Speaking of figs, I've acquired a very peculiar ficus carica that expands when exposed to Saliva. I don't know. Just imagining one of those going down your throat. Quite sensuous. While Bridget is gagging at the thought of it, you're quick to make amends for your foolhardy friend and make your way inside. So this is my champion, a delicate voice, one more elegant than yours could ever hope to be, greets you with pleasant courtesy. It is such a foreign tone you nearly doubt the language as one you share, though you have never been this compelled to listen further.